you guys listening in without hot miking. So yeah, let's get started on the what can Israelis and Palestinians learn from Northern Ireland, as we've talked about before. Hopefully, this is not like really dramatically one-sided. It could. And before I play this though, it is top of the hour, so I'm gonna run a 60-second ad break here, boys. You already know. If you'd like to no longer see the ads, all you need to do is subscribe. You can subscribe for $5, or you can subscribe for free with a Twitch Prime. And here is the ad break now, boys. Okay. What the fuck? And I'm gonna go pee while the video starts to run. Yeah. Bad segue, I know.
Appears resilient to reconciliation, but my first guest tonight says an end to conflict, even in the most hopeless situations, is possible. Gary Mason is a Methodist minister from Belfast in Northern Ireland. He played an important role in the Northern Irish peace process, which resulted in the 1998 Good Friday Agreement. Since then, he has continued to work for peace at home and has expanded his reconciliation efforts abroad. His work has been recognized by the Queen Elizabeth, and former U.S. President Bill Clinton. Reverend Mason, we are happy to have you on the program with us tonight. It's good to see you. I know that some viewers may be asking, what in the world does the conflict in Northern Ireland have in common with the current fighting between Israelis and Palestinians? I mean, the two seem worlds apart in just about everything. What do you say to that?
I think at the root of most conflicts, invariably, you have the issue of identity, the issue of land, and the issue of religion. And I would say to your viewers tonight that I am not comparing the two conflicts and saying they are identical. But in relation to some of the lessons from the Northern Irish peace process, they are applicable to many spaces from the Middle East, South Africa, Colombia. In fact, President Santos, the Colombian president, said recently that the Good Friday Agreement had a significant influence on him as he tried to bring peace to Colombia. So you're exactly right. They are not identical. But at the root causes of most conflict is a breakdown in human relationships. And land, identity, and religion invariably are playing about to some degree in most worldwide conflicts.
In 2015, you founded the nonprofit Rethinking Conflict. And on the website, it reads that the organization seeks to model the principles of the historic Good Friday Agreement and apply them to more fractured edges of society. So, I mean, I know we can't go into all of it. Maybe you could give us the cheat sheet version of how you do this with the Israelis and the Palestinians.
I suppose if we were having this conversation, interestingly, in the early 1990s, we had here what people called a mutually hurting stalemate. So very simply put, the British Army were not going to defeat the IRA. The IRA were never going to defeat one of the most elite armies in the world, and the loyalist groupings were not going to defeat the IRA. And I guess what spilled out in our space in the early 1990s, leading up to the Good Friday Agreement, was political leaders began to realize that they needed to take risks to achieve peace. But there was also a strong...
Is this real that the German state-run media outlet Deutsche Welle instructed its staff to gloss over Germany-backed Israeli war crimes and not use terms like apartheid and colonialism? Like, is this document actually real, or did someone just fucking write this out and claim that it's real? If it's just on Reddit, then I don't know. If there's like an actual source, then... Oh, Ahmed El-Din said it too. Interesting. Hamas is recognized as a terrorist organization by the German government, the EU, and the US, and some Arab states. We do not refer to Hamas's members as activists. Hamas itself is a Palestinian Islamist group. There's some violent, radical, right-wing elements within the Jewish settler community. We refer to those elements as such. Palestine is using the context of Palestine's activities in international bodies and the actions of the Palestinian Authority. For territory, we refer specifically to the West Bank or Gaza, or the Palestinian territories in reference to both. settlement. The German government and the EU condemned the Israeli settlement policy in Palestinian territories, which is also against international law. We should make this clear in our reporting. At least they have that. Let me just say something. In America, they don't even have that, okay? Apartheid. We never refer to an Israeli apartheid or an apartheid regime in Israel. We also avoid referring to colonialism or colonialists. Huh. Please join concerned Canadian journalists in demanding for fair, equitable coverage of Israel and Palestine if you're a journalist, but not Canadian. This includes you too. So there are obvious reasons as to why Germany feels the need to overcorrect when they talk about Israel. You know, for that dark moment in history. So, can you explain? I mean, dude, what do you want me to say? Fucking Nazis, dude. That's why. Okay? The DW memo was aired after this video. After this video aired. Deutsche Welle apologized for this television interview and removed their report. The broadcaster announced that Ali Abunimah have made
for the people of Germany and German elites to stop making Palestinian children in the Gaza Strip pay for the crimes of the German people against European Jews. Palestinians are sick.
Oh my God, dude. Are you calling Germany a Nazi state? That's very ignorant and stupid of you. Wow, dude. Wait, what? No, you fucking idiot. Obviously, I'm not saying Germany is a Nazi state now. I'm saying that because of the Holocaust and the horrific actions of the Nazi party and Germany at the time, that is literally the fucking reason why they engage in overcorrective behavior in an effort not to fucking offend, in an effort not to even come across as like remotely anti-Semitic or be called out as anti-Semitic. They just do overcorrective shit. That's got to be bait. Anyway, Vice is no longer here, so it doesn't matter. Germany caused the displacement of so many Jews? Yeah, absolutely. And also the murder of so many Jews. So, Merkel side with Israel, though? So, yeah, that's the point. Like,
Of paying the price for guilty German.
I mean, even saying this part, even before you mentioned Israel as an apartheid state or as a colonialist, settler, terrorist, expansionist fucking state, is a really aggro thing on German news broadcasters to say, like, you know, I feel like to bring up like Germany's crimes against Jews is already fucking heated as hell.
Consciences. So the bloodshed, the blood that is dripping in Gaza and indeed in Israel now is not just on the hands of those firing rockets or dropping bombs, but it is also on the hands of the German government that arms this apartheid occupation regime. The German government.
What would you like to see?
Bystand.
What would you like to see? What would you like to see coming from Germany and the European Union?
I would like to see Germany and the European Union
yes.
stop arming.
It isn't really something not to talk about. It's brought up very often in Germany. Yes, Holocaust is brought up very often in Germany, but Holocaust in the framework of like, in the framework as a justification for the Israeli state being built in a negative way probably isn't, right? Am I wrong? Like, Holocaust is brought up often in German history. Yes, understandably so, since it's a profoundly important piece of German history.
arming an apartheid regime, stop supporting Israeli aggression, enforce international law. By the way, the international laws that Israel is in violation of are the laws which were established after the Nazi genocide in Europe. So we would like to see the laws.
But that's not going to answer the question. That doesn't answer the question, though. What needs to happen now to stop the conflict that's happening right now? That was my question to you. What would you like to see?
What needs to happen right now is that the European Union and the German government need to make clear to their friends in Israel that they will be held accountable in the International Criminal Court for their war crimes, which didn't.
There's no fucking way. Angela Merkel literally said that her statements were basically the same as the American government. Like, they want a ceasefire, but they still absolutely support and offer arms manufacturing to the state of Israel and absolutely support Israel's expansions, with the exception of settler colonialism that they engage in on the West Bank. That is still at least a little bit different than America. They are they're closer to the side of humanity on that issue. But on everything else, they're like, go off kings.
Start yesterday. They've been continuing for decades against the Palestinian people. Settler colonialism, settlement construction, expulsions, massive attacks on Gaza. And all we have been hearing from Germany and the European Union.
Yeah, at least Merkel doesn't block a solution in the UN like we do, because we are gigantic pieces of shit. Like, we are the worst pieces of shit. These guys are not anywhere near as bad as we are.
Is empty statements saying both sides must call for restraint. But when you're arming one side, you're not a bystander, you are participants. So we want the German-backed Israeli aggression and occupation against Palestinians.
You've made your point, Mr. Ali. Unfortunately, we're out of time. Mr. Ali Abunimah, we appreciate your time and your insights tonight, joining us tonight from Amman, Jordan. Thank you.
My pleasure. And I think.
So after that, they wrote this out and apologized for that. So keywords, the legal situation in Germany. We must always remember that it's illegal in Germany to deny or minimize the acts committed during the National Socialist Nazi regime, deny the Holocaust, or violate the dignity of its victims by justifying, glorifying, approving of its acts. Understandably, obviously, that's like fucking illegal, especially in Germany. The use of Nazi symbols, spread racist or anti-Semitic or Islamophobic hate speech, including online. If a guest commits any of these illegal acts in a live interview situation, the interview must be interrupted and their statements countered, possibly by the host, after the interview has immediately been terminated.
United toward having our independent state and against Israeli aggression on Gaza and Jerusalem and other places.
And do you agree with what Hamas has been doing, firing rockets against Israel? Is that the right thing to do?
It's our right to fight and to be freedom fighters, like French when they were fighting against Germany when they occupied their land, the same as Vietnamese. So all over the world, whoever is being occupying a territory, the people need to fight back in order to liberate their land. We have been under. We are all united toward. So all over the world, whoever is being occupying a territory, the people need to fight back in order to liberate their land. We have been under negotiation for generations.
The United States has vetoed dozens of UN Security Council resolutions critical of Israel, including at least 53 since 1972, according to UN data. Yep. And we consistently do so. And it doesn't even matter because the UN Security Council is like fucking not exactly the most powerful body on the planet anyway, but even then it doesn't matter.
And yet we reach nowhere. We are all united.
It's wild. It is absolutely preposterous and wild to have a conversation revolve around not settler colonialism, not acts of terror against Palestinians in their everyday lives, but instead about fucking rocket fire as a retaliation to that ongoing unjust occupation. But it's also expected because it's fucking Hamas and they are the perfect villain. They are Islamist fundamentalists. They are firing rockets indiscriminately. And also the rockets they're firing they're firing at like actually human beings. Like they are regarded as like full-blown human beings by the rest of the media because of their proximity to Western culture. So, of course, that's always going to be the forefront of the conversation. And think about it this way, like we never, ever, ever, ever talk about Palestinian lives in the same way. I mean, we do here, and because I do that, people literally look to me and say, you're a defender of Hamas, and you're a fucking piece of shit, and you love terrorism. Why? Because I literally talk about Palestinians as human beings, dude. Oh my God. Don't worry, Ben's on the case. Oh yeah, this is my favorite thing, dude. Oh, Ben owned Palestine. A Palestinian coin from 1927, long before Israel. He goes, a Jewish coin from 1935 BCE, long before Palestine. All right, dude, never mind. Go off, King. Genocide time,
Let's set aside the quality of the weapons. The weapons are basically symbolic. They're the equivalent of fireworks. As Khalid Michel put it at one point, the head of Hamas at that moment, he no longer is, he says they're our cry to the world. You know, it's a kind of, if I can use my language, it's a kind of SOS. They're sending these flares into the air.
He's right when he says there's fucking fireworks. Like, I mean, he's minimizing it because they still end up killing people. But he's right when it says, like, with respect to the fucking artillery and, like, drone strikes and shit like that, it still kills people, so it doesn't matter. But, like, these are makeshift bombs. When I say these are bathtub bombs, I need you to understand, like, this is like the equivalent of making meth in your bathtub. Israel completely controls everything that goes into Gaza. Fireworks still kill people, but, you know. So when he's talking about Palestinian rockets, like, they're fucking makeshift.
SOS, we're dying. SOS, we're dying. That's not an exaggeration. When Mary Robinson from the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, when she went to Gaza in 2008, she said, a whole civilization is being destroyed. I am not exaggerating. A whole civilization is being destroyed.
Okay.
So if you send up flares saying,
like, if your response to fucking homemade, like, fireworks type rockets is literally white phosphorus, which Israel has used on Palestinians, then you're fucking insane. Okay, I'm sorry.
SOS, we're dying, which have next to zero impact on civilians, next to zero. I think whether or not they're discriminate or indiscriminate, it's beside the point.
To criticize Hamas.
But Aaron, you're really mixing cause and effect. You say it's going to provoke a response. They were provoked into responding.
But
It's Israel that breaks the ceasefires. They were provoked into responding. Right. And then what are they supposed to do? As long as the people want it, I support it 100%. They have the right to resist that Mongol army.
No challenging the right, but again, the question is...
It's not politically expedient. It's not politically prudent. I have no doubt about that. But I will
Gaza,
never tell a person in Gaza you don't have the right.
Fair enough.
I won't ever tell them that.
If the people of
when,
Gaza...
When I hear you tell Jews they don't have the right to use, maybe for all I know, the Warsaw Ghetto, they were using indiscriminate weapons. Who the hell knows and who the hell cares?
People think dead Palestinian kids are a necessary evil. It's insane and dehumanizing they do. Yeah, everyone is conditioned and trained to not see the human casualties of this as real human beings. Funny how every host talking to Palestinian defenders have no words. No, that's Aaron Mate, however you say his name. So he's moved beyond defending Hamas now, I think. Oh shit. Sorry, I had to tell the people that their like equipment might get sprinkled water attacked. There's a sprinkler system that's like broken and it fucking starts in the middle of the day. Great point about the weapons in the Warsaw Ghetto. If they were making homemade bombs and shanks guns, who would criticize that? Yeah, I mean, literally.
Strong desire within Northern Irish society and great help from the United States, from people like George Mitchell and Bill Clinton and the European Union, a real desire to break the cycle of violence to save future generations from the horrors of conflict. Now, interestingly, when I'm working with Israelis and Palestinians, invariably they say to me, they say, Gary, you don't understand. And I often say, tell me what I don't understand. Mm-hmm. They say, there is no trust. And I often remind them, in some of the work that I did in the Irish context, those first meetings, there was no trust. I often kind of say tongue-in-cheek, do you think it was all hugs and quick kisses in the Irish context when warring enemies met for the first time? They despised each other. Mm-hmm. Trust never comes at the start of a process. It comes through dialogue, times meeting secretly, making commitments, building confidence through concrete actions. But one of the other key components we realized was this, that attempts to resolve our conflict through military force was ultimately futile. Mm-hmm. And it actually didn't result in sustainable security for either community. So it simply went like this, as you would know, as a journalist and a political commentator, you hurt us, we will hurt you. Mm-hmm. But when people here realized that dialogue needed to be prioritized and we addressed the root causes of the conflict, that began to open up the door to what still is a fragile enough peace process. I mean, I wouldn't hold the Good Friday Agreement as utopia. We are still a society building peace. But since the Good Friday Agreement, there have been very, very few deaths in relation to political violence.
Let me ask you, Reverend, last year you brought Israelis, Palestinians, and Northern Irish people together for a Zoom virtual meeting. Tell me about that. What did the Israelis and the Palestinians, what did they want to know most from the Northern Irish?
Yeah. I've had 1,000 Israelis and Palestinians in Belfast and in Dublin over the last 10 years. But interesting, that concept you're referring to, it was a younger generation, 20s and 30s. And when it was over in some of the briefings afterwards, both the Israelis and Palestinians said quite categorically, the Northern Irish people who identify as Irish and
CEO of Sweet Green says Jewish lives matter. Stop Jewish hate, Jewish lives matter, peace to all. I mean, of course Jewish lives matter. But how is that different than saying white lives matter against like a Black Lives Matter rally? Like I'm so confused. I don't think a lot of people will go there on purpose because they don't want to do that. Like, because people are conditioned into seeing how bad that is. But he went there. That was kind of dumb of him, but he did anyway.
British understand our protracted conflict. They said, you know, sometimes we meet with other young people who are not in trouble zones. So we were not comparing like with like, but I think it's reasonable enough to say we were comparing pain with pain and looking at our situation, which is not utopia, but looking back over the last 23 years, the space I live in, and I'm speaking to you from tonight, is a tremendous amount different than the...
Okay, this is so boring. I'm sorry. Holy shit. Holy fucking shit, this is so boring. Okay. Is there gonna be TOS in the new Vice video? Let's watch Vice. I'm sorry, boys. Sorry. Shouts out to Ireland, but goddamn, dude, that is... Even saying Palestinian lives matter makes it too general of a statement and takes from the BLM. Makes it more sense to say end the occupation. Why? No, it doesn't. No, I think saying Palestinian lives matter absolutely fucking works in the exact same context. It's all Palestinians that are being oppressed by this. 7 million Palestinians are no longer have access to their homes. They've been fucking displaced. You think those lives are not displaced by the Israeli occupation? Let me go through this real quick. My fucking idiotic Crocs in the background. Hold on, I just want to see if there's any blood. I'm just going through it real quick, boys. Sorry. Sometimes it's just like straight up show blood, you know? Or like a dead kid or something. This is really good. Oh my god, they went and fucking interviewed Jonathan, I think. The Brooklyn dude. Oh fuck. This is... Yeah, it doesn't seem... Or not Jonathan. Jakub. I'm gonna quit him. Okay, this is really good. This video looks really good. Alright. Have you seen this video that Netanyahu posted saying that videos of children dying is propaganda? What? What? Are you fucking joking, dude? No way. Get the fuck out of here, dude.
Because sometimes one photo is all it takes to get to the heart, as it were, of the issue.
I can't show this. There's like literally fucking dead children. Like Sky News in Australia is literally showing dead children in this.
I want to show you a photo, just one, because sometimes one photo is all it takes to get to the heart, as it were, of the issue. This was the famous photo, for instance, that showed a young girl running terrified down a street in Vietnam that galvanized Middle America against that war. And who can forget this photo of the dead boy on the beach several years ago that led to the throwing open of Europe's doors to millions of refugees?
Oh my god, dude. Launch Rupert Murdoch and Sky News into the fucking sun. What a fucking way to describe the refugee crisis from Syria. that opened the fucking doors. Yikes, dude.
The reason these photos are so powerful, of course, is because they trigger an emotion.
Wait, hold on. I just want to see if there's like dead Palestinians that he shows, this fucking demon.
Rather than a rational response, which is why the media and the left-wing propagandists love them. So much easier to tug.
The media and left-wing propagandists love dead babies because it triggers an emotional response rather than a rational one. Dog, the emotional response is the rational one when we're talking about ethnic cleansing that happens to murder children. That's not left-wing propaganda, you fucking demon. You absolute demon. You maniacal, bloodthirsty demon, dude. Imagine being like, I hate the propaganda because it questions my humanity. When I see dead children, I think I need to have a rational response, which includes murdering of more children. Like, there is no fucking both sidesing dead kids, dude. That's it. Like, I'm sorry that puts you in an awkward argument. Here is one way out of that argument. Don't defend the side that is murdering children. Like, literally, if one side is trying to eliminate the further murder of children from happening and the other side is like, nah, we're going to keep doing it, there is one simple tip not to fucking look like an absolute bloodthirsty psychopath. And that is to say, yeah, this is really bad. We should stop doing it. Or, yeah, this is really bad. We should actually help these kids. Like, it's that easy. This is a decision that shouldn't even be a decision, really. You should see this and immediately react in that same way because that's being human. Seeing a dead child and and rationally reacting to it by saying, we must make sure that this never happens again. That is the common sense position. That is the normal rational reaction, not whatever this fucking vampire is saying here. Okay? So if you have a nuanced, complicated argument that revolves around the murder of children, like, you know, you can save it, dude. I promise. It is really simple. It costs $0.00 to fucking not be a gigantic piece of shit.
At the heartstrings than to offer up fact, reason, and logic.
The fact, reason, and logic in a situation like the refugee crisis that he so carelessly covered here is to stop the displacement, okay? Or to welcome the displaced into your country because we have the capacity to take care of them. Imagine taking a position and literally comparing the dead Palestinian children to the dead Vietnamese children or the dead children as a consequence of the Syria refugee crisis, while you are literally saying that you were for the Vietnam War and did not want to open the fucking doors to Syrian refugees, and simultaneously saying the rational, logical response to dead Palestinian children is more dead Palestinian children. Like it is so demon-like that it is unfathomable for most normal humans to literally be like, wait a minute. Is he saying that the Vietnam War was poggers? Like, imagine having a pro-Vietnam War take on you know, in 2021, the year of our holy Lord.
Currently, a war is raging in Israel, and here is the photo that tells you...
Oh, God! Okay.
Everything you need to know about the history and the future of this conflict. This is what is called the Iron Dome at work in the skies above Israel. On the right-hand side of the photo, you can see the deadly rockets being fired out of Gaza in an aggressive and deliberately offensive act of war, designed to kill and maim as many innocent, everyday Israeli citizens.
Wait, isn't that literally the Iron Dome? I thought that was the Iron Dome, and these are the fucking rockets. I didn't realize that was also... I thought that was also the Iron Dome.
as possible.
I know that these are Iron Dome rockets that have successfully intercepted.
Those rockets, by the way, have been supplied by Iran, funded in part by the Obama-Biden administration, and indeed by countries such as ours via our donations to the United Nations. Now, on the left-hand side of the photo, looking like something out of Star Wars or Close Encounters, you can see the Iron Dome, a technological miracle that allows Israel to shoot those Iranian and Hamas rockets out of the sky in a purely defensive act designed to save citizens.
Wait, I'm confused. Is he going to then simultaneously show the bombing campaign that Israel engages in on a daily basis? Like after this? Because that's the defensive side. And it's true. And it is just. And it is also good. But people aren't criticizing Israel for having an Iron Dome. That's ridiculous. Like, I haven't heard, and I see fucking idiotic tankies that come and go through here, and I've yet to hear someone be like, I fucking hate that they have an Iron Dome. Like, they should let Palestinians just like fucking bomb indiscriminately. Which would be more fair technically if the role reversal was to be fair. Okay? But it's fucking psychotic. No one would say that. Okay? Absolutely no one would be like, yeah, it's actually bad that there's an Iron Dome. It's not. It's good that there's an Iron Dome. Okay? But no one is criticizing the Iron Dome's existence. As a matter of fact, everyone celebrates it. So the real criticism here isn't the Iron Dome, but instead the fucking bombing campaign that reverses the roles here. And there is no Iron Dome for Palestine. And there are not even any bomb shelters for Palestine. So what's up?
Citizens' lives. Now, allow that to tug on the logical side of your brain rather than tug at the emotional strings of your heart.
He's like, please make a logical argument here as I literally spoon feed one-sided information to you to try to justify the horrific war crimes that Israel engages in on a daily basis. That's a wonderful take. Please allow me to try to spoon feed you propaganda.
On the right-hand side, a barrage of deadly missiles supplied by the terrorist Iranian regime to the murderous thugs of
the terrorist Iranian regime?
Hamas,
what the fuck does that have to do with it?
Designed to kill Jewish men, women, and children as they sleep in their beds. On the left-hand side...
What? On the left-hand side, you have the Israeli Defense Force that literally successfully kills Palestinian men and women in their sleep, like literally successfully.
Side, a highly sophisticated and remarkable defensive system designed through ingenuity and necessity over many long years to protect.
I thought we weren't making emotional arguments. I guess it's an unemotional argument if you are siding with the cruel oppressors, I guess.
Lives. That is the story of the Gaza.
Oh, you fool. You simply do not understand that it is an unemotional argument when I'm doing it to defend Israel and its bombing campaign on Palestinians. It's unemotional. The violent, horrific monsters on the Palestinian side who attack Israelis in their sleep. This is an unemotional argument. Bitch, it unironically feels like the side that you're taking simply does not have the same kind of, telegenically dead children as the Palestinians do because, Israel keeps murdering children and Hamas does not have the capability to murder children in the same way that Israel can. So you're just butthurt that you don't have the videos. Like it literally feels like he's just butthurt that he doesn't have the videos to be able to like use them. Because you mean to tell me that like this guy wouldn't be fucking playing this nonstop if there wasn't like actual fucking photos of like an Israeli child out there that he could use? He would literally use it all day, every day. He's 100% using the fucking emotional argument here.
Conflict and the history of Israel and Palestine. Pretty much everything else you will hear is obfuscation, distortion, and lies, including this insidious rubbish that the Palestinians are the victims courtesy of the pernicious moral relativism of the left, peddled incessantly by the mainstream media and spouted by fools such as the creepy former leader of Pink Floyd, Roger Waters.
Unless some pressure is brought to bear upon the Israeli government to stop their ferocious, murderous attack on Gaza.
Yes, I hate the mainstream media, which I certainly am not a part of here. It's Sky fucking News. What is the mainstream media? Like, if not Sky News, like, what is mainstream media then? Is it my fucking Twitch channel? Am I mainstream media? Like, this is such confusing rhetoric from the fucking anchor at Sky News, dude.
What rubbish. Of course, this disgraceful performance by Adam Bolton on Sky News in London interviewing the Israeli ambassador, Tzipi Hotovely, takes the
United Nations, its duty to say that Hamas is committing a double war crimes. Right. One war crime is they're shooting from civilian areas, and the other one they're shooting to civilians. So they're committing double war crimes.
As you well know, the United Nations has repeatedly said that the settlements are illegal in international law.
Bro, that's hilarious. Bro, double war crime. Hamas is both responsible for the oncoming rocket fire and the outgoing rocket fire, dude.
And should cease, and those are continuing.
But they need to condemn terror organization, which is recognized by Britain and by the United States, that is now shooting into civilian
all
population.
I'm saying is a bit rich to say the United Nations.
I gotta stop this because this is the funniest fucking thing. Yo, please check your Twitter mentions. There's something you might want to see. There is never something I want to see. Like, motherfuckers will routinely post shit like this, okay? And say, like, if this guy's been following me for 18 minutes, okay? Like, I'm willing to bet that there is literally nothing I want to see in my Twitter mentions, okay? Straight the fuck up. It's just not even remotely interesting to me, okay? He's trying to scam you. They keep making socks. I'm sorry. Like, he gets banned, literally comes back and is like, no, you have to see it. You have to see it. I assume it's like fucking nudity or some shit. Let's take a look. What a fucking pathetic weirdo, dude.
We want to.
Is this it? Is this a... Yep, nothing. Nothing in here, dude. Except for this. This is pretty funny. Hold on. I have to show this. Average Turkish cat, weak. Average Armenian cat, strong. It's so dumb. Okay, let's keep going.
Should do something when Israel is ignoring what the United Nations has said in the context of settlements.
Can I ask you something? What would you do if Britain was under a fire?
By the way, that wasn't what he wanted me to see. It was some other shit.
What would you do if London was under fire and rockets were thrown on your house? What would you do? Do you think Britain...
Not an emotional appeal, by the way. Hey, remember, Sky News is showing this as the logical appeal, not emotional. It's a truly unemotional way to do logic and reasoning. Logic and reasoning is just, for those of you who didn't know, logic and reasoning is basically just whatever is on my side is logical, cold hard facts. Whatever is on your side is emotional and bad. Okay, that's it.
Would have sit in silent, not protecting its citizens.
Yeah, England would never know about being a occupying a colonizer who had to fight a disproportional warfare against a militant group that wanted to use radical and militant acts, sometimes of violence, to defend itself. England would never know that, so I'm glad that she's asking this question. Yeah, or being bombed by domestic terrorists. Yeah, it's crazy. Please check out the IDF Twitter account. They just mention you. I doubt it.
Do you expect any sovereign country not to protect its citizens?
Of course, you can protect citizens. The question is the retaliation and the attacking of civilians in Gaza and elsewhere, which, as we know, once again is leading to disproportionate suffering on the Palestinian side.
Disproportionate, settlements. So just...
Wow. What another logical and reasonable, well thought out, cold, hard, factually based argument from this fucking ape. This goddamn Sky News baboon, dude. I am feeling like my mind is expanded from all of these high level ideas. Watching this Sky News animal do and chest thump as a defensive counter. Wow, incredible, dude. So much facts, so much logic.
To be clear, in the eyes of the woke left, Israel should sit back silently and allow its citizens to be blown to smithereens.
Wait, but you just talked about the Iron Dome and how fucking impressive that is. Like, so is the Iron Dome weak and pathetic and incapable of fucking stopping Hamas's, like, bathtub rockets and fireworks? Or is it an impressive technological feat, which it is, and that it would protect the Israelis, like, nearly in its entirety, especially if they were able to, I don't know, secure a fucking ceasefire agreement.
By rockets and bombs because of complicated historical reasons. There are some disputed Jewish settlements out in Judea and Samaria.
Oh, just some disputed. Motherfucker, the entirety of Israel's existence is disputed in the way that it currently exists. Like, what kind of fucking some disputed shit is this? There is no dispute on the West Bank. That is occupied territory, and it is completely illegal. Okay? That is completely illegal. Like, unacceptable. Completely unacceptable. That's not a conversation point to be having. Okay? If Israel is supposed to exist in the way that it currently exists, then there is dispute in the way that it currently exists. The violent occupying regime.
Area on land that, by the way, for over 3,500 years has been...
I've never seen this guy before, and I just gotta let you know, guys, my day is ruined, okay? If I never knew that this fucking dog shit, absolute fucking monster ever existed, I would have lived my life happily. Happier than I am now. Okay? My day is irreparably damaged by acknowledging the existence of this fucking absolute dog. Rubbish. Rubbish.
The home of the Jews. That's your lefty logic. Oh, and if Hamas fires thousands of deadly rockets into the suburbs of Tel Aviv, if imams call for Israeli Muslims to rush out and buy cheap 5-shekel knives to slit the throats of their Jewish neighbors alongside whom they have lived peacefully for decades, as
yeah, decades before the occupation. Peacefully for decades under, you know, Ottoman rule. I guess that's what he means when he says peacefully for decades.
They have done. If synagogues are burnt to the ground, oh, that's all hunky-dory. But it is disproportionate. What a vile word.
Disproportionate is a vile word. What the fuck, dude? Yo, I swear to God. What's so disproportionate about this is his reaction to, like, even the most minor things that he has declared an infraction. Like he considers he considers any amount of like Palestinian resistance to be the most significant of war crimes, just absolute genocidal. We must end it all. We must end it all. Meanwhile, like Israel's literally doing genocide. He's like, that's understandable and a reasonable attempt. Well, actually, he doesn't even bring that up. He never brought up Israeli retaliation. Notice how the conversation never even got to the fucking child casualties on the Palestinian side. What a fucking monster this person is. This is literally one of the worst people I've ever seen in my entire life. I hope every single day that he lives going forward, he understands the fucking plight that Palestinian families go through. Maybe you can fucking, maybe that way he will be a little bit more humane. What a fucking horrible, monstrous, evil person, dude. God damn. God fucking damn it, dude. Holy shit. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting person. Not a human being. Gross, dude.
Proportionate of Israel to defend its people.
Like he says it's a vile word to say it's disproportionate. Like Israel's bombing campaign that has killed more than 200 Palestinians in the past 2 weeks. Calling that disproportionate is vile in his minds. It's not disproportional, motherfucker. It's genocide, okay? It's disproportional in the sense that it's literally a massacre, that it's genocide. I have a lot more words for that than disproportionate.
How dare the Israeli government stop Jews being killed? Well, may Adam Bolton hang his head in shame.
Oh, God. I fucking hate him, dude. I hate him, dude. I hate him so much.
Oof. I want to show you a photo.
He just says it's a vile word. It's vile. His entire existence is vile. Would you rather hang with him or Lewis for a day? No, he's significantly more demon-like than Lewis. Lewis is just a selfish piece of shit. That man is a monster, dude. That is not a man. That is a fucking demon, dude. What an absolute psychopath. Oh, God. Whatever fucking asshole news organization allows him to continue spewing this bile and call it fucking daily news is also equally at fault.
We're on the grounds of Al-Aqsa. It's one of the holiest places in the Islamic religion. And so we've come here today on one of the holiest nights of Ramadan. The crowds are huge. So if anything happens, it could potentially be very dangerous to the people that are here.
It's nighttime prayers for Palestinian Muslims. And this year...
Wow. Guys, I can't believe Vice News is showing this. I mean, look at how menacingly they're praying to Allah. I mean, think about that, guys. What if Allah answers their wishes with a space laser? Yeah, I bet you didn't think about that, dude. Nobody thinks about the power of Islamic prayer, dude. Yeah. Thankfully, you know, the IDF is there to stop them from doing so because they know. They know better. They know what the power of Islamic ray guns look like. Yeah. Someone needs to put a fucking end to this, bruv. Islamic ray guns.
Israeli forces showed up unannounced.
So you can see that there is Israeli police actually inside, in the grounds of Al-Aqsa. That's what triggered the protests, and that's what triggered the anger today.
Palestinians feel like they're being pushed out of East Jerusalem, the city they...
There was more in the no, it's fine. We moved beyond that. There was more there that I didn't show you.
See, is the capital
this is what I like lliterally scanned through it and it doesn't show it, but then fucking they'll have random
future Palestinian state.
Chat, stop making jokes about it. It's you make it so much worse. Like if you make jokes about it, I will fucking ban you. Just nuke him.
They say Israel is upping its efforts to redraw the borders of the city, but Israel claims it belongs to them, despite the United Nations saying it's...
Hold on.
an occupation, illegal under international law.
The Israeli police have been arresting loads of Palestinian children. Palestinians are retaliating because so many...
So I need you to see this, okay? I need you to see this because, like, the reason why this is important for you to understand is, like, one, this is occupied Palestinian land, okay? This is occupied Palestinian land. But not only that, but also, like, this is what started the conflict, or this version of the conflict, beyond, like, the everyday existence of Palestinians being brutalized. And not only that, but also, these fucking assholes, they're, like, so fucking stupid, dude. Yeah, dude, good job. Good job with that. So as I was saying, this is not defensive. This happened as a first act. This happened, and that's why like, this was asked. Hamas asked for this to stop before the before like the ongoing conflict occurred. I just want you to understand that. I want you to recognize and understand that this is
happy 7 months to us.
This is the beginning of this this version of, like, this iteration of the events.
Young men have been taken away by police.
Hold on. He's saying people just came here to worship and you're giving them shit.
قديش عمرك؟ قديش عمرك؟ قديش عمرك؟ 15 سنة ايش سويت؟ ليش اخذوك؟
Vaccine gang. Raw dogging COVID. Free Palestine.
Did evangelicals factor in the Iron Dome into their rapture plan? Or are they going to have to answer for their support a nation that's going to bomb Jesus out of the sky? Just curious. Nice job scrolling away. Wait. Have you heard of the Struma, a ship with 800 Holocaust survivors? Turkey incarcerated for weeks until floating them back out of the Black Sea to get torpedoed by Russian submarines. Literal mass murder Turkey never recognized and apologized for. One person survived. Nice job scrolling away from my comment without acknowledging your country's slaughter of 800 defenseless Holocaust survivors. What? I didn't even know what this... I don't know what this is. I've never heard of this before. I'm sorry if that happened. That's really fucked up. I don't know how you were, like...
6 months. Thanks for changing my views, Arjan.
What? Like... I don't know if you know this, but, like, I wasn't alive back then. I also don't know what this has to do with, like, Israel-Palestine, but... I'm legitimately so confused as to what that was. The Struma disaster was the sinking on 24th of February 1942 of a ship, MV Struma, that had been trying to take nearly 800 Jewish refugees from Axis-allied Romania to mandatory Palestine. Is there anything I can do aside from apologizing for that? I don't know. Does apologizing work? Or don't tell them about the ship full of Jews turned away by the USA? Oh, of course. Also, the Ottoman Empire does have a literal history of being incredibly welcoming to the Jews that were purged from Spain and numerous other countries. But, you know, that's...
Our baby is 7.